LibreOffice. Microsoft Office costs around $100 every year. Over 10 years, that's $1,000 just to type documents and make spreadsheets on a computer you already own. And the worst part? The second you stop paying, Microsoft suddenly acts like your own files are locked behind a wall. LibreOffice just doesn't do that. It came out in 2010 and has everything Office has. The word processor called Writer, a spreadsheet tool called Calc, a presentation tool called Impress, and extras for databases and diagrams. The full package. Except nobody asks for your card details every month. It opens and saves Word, Excel, and PowerPoint files just fine. It works without internet, no account needed. It doesn't send your data anywhere in the background. Big governments use it. Parts of France's military and Italy's defense ministry both switched to LibreOffice because they didn't want to keep paying for software forever. The only real downside is that some advanced Excel features work slightly differently, and complicated PowerPoint animations can act weird sometimes. But for students, small businesses, and regular people, LibreOffice does everything they actually need for exactly $0. Hard to argue with that. VLC Media Player. Most media players are fine until they're not. You try to open one file that's slightly different from the usual ones, and suddenly your computer acts confused. Your default player gives up. And now you're downloading something called Ultra Codec Player Pro _V9 from a website that looks like it was made in someone's bedroom in 2003. VLC is the fix for that. It started in 2001 as a student project in France and became the media player that everyone eventually downloads after their default one lets them down. The whole idea is simple. If a video or audio file exists, VLC will probably open it. MP4, MKV, AVI, FLAC, MOV, random formats from old cameras that stopped being made years ago. VLC opens all of them without needing extra software. The whole app is under 50 megabytes. It runs fine on old computers that struggle to keep up with basic tasks, but most people only use about 10% of what VLC can actually do. It can convert video and audio files from one format to another. It can stream video over a network. It can sync subtitles frame by frame when they're slightly off. It can record your screen. It can even play YouTube links directly inside the app without opening a browser. The logo is a traffic cone, and there's actually a reason for that. The original developers at the university used to collect traffic cones as a hobby, which somehow fits VLC's whole personality of being a little random but always getting the job done. It's not pretty. It doesn't have a paid version. It just works every time on every file. Zip. At some point, someone is going to send you a file your computer won't open, not because anything is broken, just because the file is packed in a format Windows doesn't recognize, and suddenly it's treating it like a mystery. 7-Zip is what you install to fix that. It came out in 1999 and still gets updates today. It's a file tool that opens basically every compressed format you'll ever come across. Zip, RAR, TAR, ISO, GZ, and its own 7Z format, which actually packs files even smaller than regular zip. It handles password-protected files and encrypted folders without any trouble. The app is tiny. It runs on anything. No long setup, no account, no screen asking you to pay for the full version. The best comparison is WinRAR. WinRAR has been showing a your free trial is over pop-up for about 25 years, but the software still works anyway if you click cancel. It became a joke on the internet. 7-Zip skips all of that. It's just free. No tricks, no timers. It's not exciting software. It just sits quietly in your right-click menu and does its job every single time you need it. That's exactly what a tool like this should do. DaVinci Resolve, for years, if you wanted to edit videos properly, you basically had to pay Adobe every single month and just accept that the app would crash randomly and that was somehow your problem. Then there's DaVinci Resolve. It's made by a company called Blackmagic Design, a real successful business that for some reason gives away one of the most powerful video editing tools in the world completely for free. Not free with a watermark on your videos. Not free for 30 days. Actually free. What makes Resolve different is that it's not just one tool. It's basically 4 professional apps built into one. You get a video editor that works like Premiere Pro, a motion graphics tool called Fusion for adding animations and effects, a professional audio editor called Fairlight, and the color grading system that real Hollywood studios use. Major blockbuster films, the kind you see in cinemas, have been color graded using DaVinci Resolve, the exact same software sitting on your desktop for free right now. The free version has around 95% of what most people will ever need. The paid version mainly adds some AI tools and better noise reduction. So the free version isn't a watered-down demo, it's the real thing. The downside is your computer needs a decent graphics card, and the app takes time to learn. Opening it for the first time feels like walking into a control room with no idea what any of the buttons do. But once you understand it, it replaces video editing, color, and audio tools that would normally cost hundreds of dollars every year. OBS Studio. If you've ever watched a live stream, a gaming video, a podcast, or even a tutorial on YouTube with clean production, there's a good chance it was recorded using OBS. OBS Studio came out in 2012 and became the go-to tool for streamers and video creators because it solved a simple problem. People needed professional recording and streaming tools without paying thousands of dollars. The free open source option ended up being better than most paid alternatives, which says a lot. OBS works using scenes. You set up layers, your screen, your webcam, your browser, alerts, graphics, audio sources, and switch between them while you're live or recording. Your laptop basically becomes a small production studio. It records in high quality, works with almost every streaming platform, and has a large library of add-ons built by the community. Virtual cameras, Stream Deck support, advanced audio controls if you want OBS to do something specific, someone has probably already made it. The only rough part is the beginning. When you first open OBS, there are buttons everywhere and none of them explain themselves. Compared to paid tools like Streamlabs Ultra or Camtasia, OBS saves you anywhere from $60 to $300 a year and honestly works better. GIMP, before Photoshop turned into a monthly subscription, there was GIMP. GIMP stands for GNU Image Manipulation Program. It came out in 1996, which means it's older than Google, older than YouTube, and older than most people watching this. It's a full image editor, layers, filters, brushes, masks, photo fixing, digital drawing. With extra plugins, it can even open Photoshop files directly. For thumbnails, social media images, website graphics, and basic photo editing, GIMP handles most of what people actually use image software for day to day. The downsides are real though. The layout looks old. Some shortcuts from Photoshop don't carry over. Print designers will find it annoying because it doesn't fully support CMYK colors. And the interface sometimes feels like it was built by people who were very good at the technical side but didn't spend much time thinking about how it looks. But here's what people miss. Photoshop costs around $260 a year. GIMP costs nothing. Once you stop expecting it to be exactly like Photoshop and just use it on its own terms, it gets the job done. For most people, that's all they need. Krita. If GIMP replaces Photoshop, Krita is the free version of Procreate but for desktop computers. It was built by a community of developers and came out in 2005. The whole focus was digital drawing and illustration, not photo editing. And that focus shows the brush tools in Krita are genuinely good. Pressure sensitivity, brush stabilization, texture brushes, and a large library of brush presets that people have been adding to for years. It also supports basic animation through frame-by-frame drawing, vector tools, layers. It can open and save Photoshop files. And unlike GIMP, it actually looks like a modern app. If you're into digital art, illustration, or making comics, Krita will feel more natural than GIMP for that kind of work. And compared to Procreate, which costs $13 once but only works on iPad, Krita runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux for free with no device limits. Audacity. If your video looks a little rough, people will probably keep watching. If your
Code
audio
red.
sounds bad, in July 2001, a worm named they'll click away in the first 10 seconds. Audacity has been the standard free audio editor for over 25 years because it got that before most people did. It came out in 2000 and became the tool for podcasters, YouTubers, musicians recording demos, and anyone trying to clean up audio that sounds like it was recorded next to a running tap. The basics are simple cut clips, remove background noise, make the volume consistent, add effects. You can take a recording that sounds rough and make it sound like it was done properly. It saves to MP3, WAV, FLAC, OGG, and most other formats people actually use. Even though it looks basic, there's real power underneath. Audacity works with professional audio plugins VST and LV2, which are the same kinds of tools used in real music studios. Compared to Adobe Audition or similar tools that cost $95 to $240 a year, Audacity handles everything most creators actually need for free. Blender, for a long time, making 3D content professionally meant spending a lot of money on software before you even got started. Programs like Maya or Cinema 4D were what professional studios used, and they weren't cheap. Then there's Blender. It started in 1994 at a small animation studio in the Netherlands. In 2002, the community raised $100,000 to make it fully open source, basically crowdfunding freedom for the whole software. That campaign worked, and Blender has been completely free ever since. Today, it's a complete 3D toolkit in one app. You can model objects, sculpt characters, animate them, add simulations like fire or cloth, render final images, edit video, and even do 2D animation all inside Blender. Professional studios have used it in real productions, and full animated films have been made entirely inside it. The hard part is learning it. Blender has one of the steepest learning curves on this entire list. The first time you open it, it feels like someone handed you the controls of a plane and then left the room. People who push through that part end up making work that looks like it came from a big studio.